Our next keynote speaker is Assistant Professor Dr. Gomet Kanjanapayap from Silpakorn University. He will present a keynote speech titled Resilient Creativity in the Age of AI. Assistant Professor Dr. Gomet Kanjanapayap is an expert in virtual reality and digital sculpture at the Faculty of Decorative Arts, Silpakorn University. He teaches in the PhD program in design and has an interesting background that combines both art and technology. Dr. Gomet studied computer science for his undergraduate degree, fine art for his master's degree, and design for his doctoral degree. He has been a certified ZBrush instructor since 2011 and has written 2 books about digital sculpting. His work successfully combines creativity with technology, making him a unique educator and researcher. Please welcome Assistant Professor Dr. Gomet Kanjanapayap.
Hey, hello everybody. So actually, I'm kind of glad that I'm the second presenter after Dr. Cirillo here because what he has just said, it's just like how do you say, if you think of it as film, he's like the first film and mine is like a sequel. So his is more like a organizational change. Mine is more like a micro change. His is more macro, mine is micro. So it's kind of like a sequel. So hopefully mine is not a sloppy second. So because he had done such a great job. So today I'll be talking about what we call the sustainable creativity because he had talked about changing from the organizational level. Mine is more like personal level. And today's presentation is very personal to me. Okay? So as we all know, because his second slide talked about the arrival of artificial intelligence. And I believe, and I'm sure all of you are in agreement with me, that we are already in the age of artificial intelligence. It is no longer science fiction. It is now, here and now, And from the theme of the artificial intelligence or robot, we have seen one common theme, which is AI is conquering the world. Or maybe we are battling with AI somewhat, And the fact is, the truth is not so far-fetched from it. But we might not be, getting a rifle or M16 and shooting at AI any day soon, hopefully. But more and more jobs are being killed off by AI, from, graphic designers, music composer, copywriter, voice talent, and even those people who are making films are being affected by it, by what we call artificial intelligence. So as you can see, this video, recently just released, made by Google VO3.
Guys,
with simple prompts, you can create like Hollywood quality videos. Like
guys,
this, so
I
an
haven't
ape
slept
on
in days
mushroom.
since smelling that thing. I'm gonna try eating this mushroom to knock me out. Boys, I'm tripping balls right now.
Look at the
I'm
quality of
losing
lip
all
syncing,
cognitive ability.
which normally would
Do
take
not eat the
years
mushrooms.
to develop into a real film. Okay, so definitely creative industry are being disrupted at alarming rate. So, for example, CNN Business reported that AI is replacing human tasks faster than you think. So, is it a crisis or is it a fundamental shift? Going back to his great presentation there, I'm sure it is a fundamental shift at the moment because it will be here to stay. And according to a study or projection or prediction or foresight saying that artificial intelligence could replace 300 million full-time jobs by the year 2030. That is insane. My job as a teacher might no longer be valid in the few years. So I'm planting trees at the moment in Nan. Unfortunately, today got flooded, so I might have to replant again. Anyhow, where are we in this equation when human creativity have AI in it? Even to type down creativity, you can't type it without AI in it. So for me, the answer is that no matter what you do, you still have to survive and sustain as a human being. So eventually you have to still do what you love, what you're good at, and try to find something that the world still needs you to do. And that is the concept of what I call sustainable creativity. Because I believe that creativity is not just drawing pictures, not just doing film. I think it's in every bit and every molecule of us human. So today I present you the concept of V, not W-E, but V-E-E, through 3 of my personal projects. So the first V, is value. I think it's something that we still need to keep and able to survive in the years to come. So for this project, I start off, actually it's a research project that I did with, I am still doing with a professor at Rangsit University by pitching human against AI in doing one same animation for a music video, basically. So this one, I employ one side total human, another one total AI. So this one, I employ the studio called Croissant Studio to create the concept art for the project. The project is about, actually very simple, it's about a dog owner and a dog. And the dog has lost his owner during the time and stuff like that. It's a very sentimental piece. So this is the key visual. So in this set, and also very lucky that I have this person, Mr. Songpon Sangsuan, who just did the storyboard for the hit TV series Mad Unicorn, and did the storyboarding for us and also the animatic for us. On the so this is the process. So still very, very hand animated, time consuming, and it's still not finished. So today I'm presenting you a half-baked fit version of the project. On the other hand, I have this researcher, Pianon Somboon from Rangsit University, who would be doing the prompting and just typing words, and then creating the character sheet, creating the dogs and whatnot, and create the entire animation based on this. And the role of human have changed drastically. Before we had to do frame by frame animation. Now human role, instead of creator, he's just prompting and changing to more like a curator, and then changing bit by bit a little bit, and then until satisfaction. So the result is something like this, side by side. Pardon me, the left side is not anyhow finished, and it has been taking us nearly 3 months already. On the other hand, the AI already finished within 3 days. So I'll let you take a look at this for a few moments. At first, I was planning to finish both of them and present here, but again, we could only finish up to the animatic, basically, and given the time, 3 months, 4 months, could not finish. Because we have only a few people, we use only one, basically one storyboard artist, one concept art, and also one animator. Same thing with the AI, just one person. So just by thinking about number, we are already losing the number game. Nearly finished. So the question that you might ponder yourself would be, where are we in the future? Are we still valid as a creative mind, or do we need to find new jobs? Should I go back and become a farmer? So that's something that actually, even for me, I'm thinking constantly. And actually, I don't even know the future just yet. Maybe you and I can find that future together. So when you think about this economic-wise, AI can make things easier, faster, cheaper, maybe not necessarily better yet, but I'm sure that day will come soon. Especially with the arrival of new video tool, for example, this one by Google, I believe, you can create things so fast by a few minutes. You can type in and get super high quality like this. I didn't do this, it's from the trailer. So take a look and see where will we fit in this future equation. So I happen to be in film industry some 10 years ago. I did the King Narration, the movie. I was very lucky to be invited to be one of the CG supervisor. And to do this kind of thing, it took months, years of planning. But now you can just sit right in front of a screen, type a few words cleverly, and things will spit out just like that. Okay. And anyone can make things with AI. Even nowadays, a mechanic or some people just think of something and then just type it and their imaginary concept would come up. So easy that by the year 2030, by projection by Gartner saying that 90% of all online contents will be AI generated. That's a lot. That's like 10% left for human. Are we okay with that? Maybe we are now. What about the value of things that have been generated? This is something that go back to my first V, is value. What about its value? When the world is flooded with AI contents, and I can guarantee you that most of the AI contents are not pristine or not that great, because most of them are something like this. I'm sure some of you might have seen this. It's like, for those of you who cannot read Thai text, basically it's a fake image telling the story of a female veteran who have lost her arm, and this is her 25th birthday, and it's fake, and it's being flooded. Right now you can see video like this constantly in my feed, and it looks so somewhat realistic. Some even try to make it documentary, mockumentary. But maybe there's still hope yet for human, because there are so many plethora of bad content. So human-made content will be perceived as authentic and full of effort. So maybe just like a scene in a film, I'm not quite sure. I think a few of us here are young enough to watch this film in the year 1982. This is a scene from the film called Blade Runner. In this scene, the character Harrison Ford is an investigator, I believe, a detective, and he was investigating a strip club, and in it there is a snake. Okay, I'll let you watch this scene. Try to focus on the snake, not the stripper. Okay.
Is this a real snake?
Of course it's not real. Think I'd be working in a place like this if I could afford a real snake?
So that's a very short clip. So something real, something with effort, might be something that human will be seeking after all. So human-made content, for me, I believe, at least I'm positively thinking that the contents will be, again, valuable. So now for the second part of my V concept is E. E for me stands for expertise. This one I realized during the time that I'm working on this very project. This project is called the Unseen Stained Glass. This one, I'm not quite sure whether you have visited this temple or not, is Benjamin Bopit Temple. It was tasked by King Rama V to Prince Narisara to oversee the design and also the architectural part of it, and also the interior decoration. And if you go right now, today, you will see 12 panels of stained glass. All of them look like this, is the Tepanome, okay? And when I look into the documents, actually, they spent quite a lot of money purchasing marble. So at the time, they didn't have enough money to actually make all the panels look different. And a recent discovery by Mom Luang Phumchai Chumpon, he found that there are actually sketches by Prince Narisara, happened to be in his house, and well documented. So basically the drawing, original sketch, pencil sketches, and the second panel would be detailing what this panel is for. For example, this one is for the eighth illustration, and his handwriting is so beautiful. I love it, just reading. And he tells where this one will be located in the Benjamin Bopit Temple. So these are all the paintings. You are very lucky to be here today. This project is not by any means finished. Okay, so it's still going on. And we found a total of 7 sketches. And we realized that these sketches are the depiction of the life and the attainment of enlightenment of Buddha. But some of these are more or less like a design directions, or more like a choices. So not all of them are for specific. Some of them are duplicate of one another or some minor changes, and he would note why as well. For example, you see one with the Prince Siddhartha, and I believe there's also another one. Sorry, let me go back a few. How do I go back? Sorry, let me try to get back to one. For example, this one. You see that on the second panel, you see the Prince Siddhartha as young boy. And on here, older. So in the back, he would say that why he changed it. Because in the Tripikatha, he said that when normal people see Lord Buddha, actually see him not as infant, but as a 16 years old person, something like that. So he would note everything very intricate. So Mom Luang Phumchai asked me, how would this look like if they were created as stained glass, as he had envisioned? So I started off this project by studying it, each one of these, scanning it, see all the minor detail, and then we even participated in the stained glass conservation workshop because we wanted to know how these stained glass were produced during that time. So this was the workshop. And these two are the experts doing the conservation in Europe and also in Thailand as well, in Ayutthaya. And I asked a good friend of mine, Assistant Professor Thamasak at Rangsit University, to help me out with the sketches and also with the color tone and everything, and approved it by the team. Also, I want to explore how AI can be used in terms of translating this to the stained glass style. So basically, this from the human side, then we use the AI we train AI for the stained glass style. But we don't have that many Thai illustration, mostly from the European cathedral and stuff like that. This one is in Ayutthaya, so we got some ideas. So the data set not quite enough, I would say. So we trained this one, we put this one into the model, and the model would spit out some kind of result. The first result, I would say that unacceptable. It looks something like this. And it gets better over time. This one maybe too many. So somehow the context not quite aligned with AI or something. It doesn't come out correctly. This is stained glass, but not quite correct. Maybe beautiful, It looked like stained glass, with some lead line and everything. But AI stained glass might look good to non-expert. To me, for example, the previous screen, it looks good. But when you actually talk to expert, best is laughable. It's like, what the hell are you looking at? This is not stained glass. This is just painting on glass, not the stained glass, the style that we are actually looking to achieve. So all inaccurate. Perhaps if we have, or I have, a better trained AI, definitely it could produce better result. Don't doubt about that. But experts are still needed, especially during the infancy period, whether we can see whether this one is correct or not. So oftentimes, as I also love doing anatomy drawing, I used to teach for medical students for sketches. When AI produce like human anatomy, sometimes I look at it and, oh my God, this is incorrect, this is wrong. But for laymen, this is acceptable. So I believe that experts will be even more and more valuable, human expert. So I consulted, in this case, Miss Nalakan Nopawong Na Ayutthaya, who is an expert in stained glass. Asked her, if it were up to you, how would you actually design the blocking of stained glass? So I asked her to redo everything. And the result looks something like this. So it's more balanced, more human touch, and it makes sense. So again, one day AI can definitely do this, but today the training data might not have enough, so we are still needing to rely on human experts. So when can we actually use AI then? According to UNESCO, they produce this kind of like guidelines for using AI. So I'll go through with you very briefly. So if you were to start a project, for example, you have to ask yourself, does it matter if the output is true or accurate? If the answer is no, then okay, use it. If you just want to create something for fun and nothing at all, then go ahead. Nobody would kill you. But if the answer is yes, then you have to ask yourself the second question. Do you have the expertise to verify that the output is accurate? Then if the question is no, then it's unsafe to use it. But if your answer is maybe unsure, yes, then you have to ask the third question. Are you able and willing, this is very important, willing to take full responsibility for inaccuracies? And if the answer is no, then unsafe to use. And if your answer is yes, then possible of using it for actual usage. Because I think a year and a half ago, all of us here, maybe in educational sector, we have seen papers, academic papers, that were produced using AI data, fabricate data, or even pictures that were generated using AI, the picture with the rat with the giant testicle. I'm sure that one is very, very popular or unpopular, so to speak. So in a way, human experts are ever more important in years to come, in my opinion at least. Now come to the last E, in the V concept, is actually the experience. That's something that I think AI cannot replace. For me, this one goes through my lifelong project called Himapan. You guys know Himapan? Himapan is a magical forest, an imaginary forest that lives between the human world and the celestial world, according to Buddhist belief or Brahmin belief. So this project actually started off some nearly 30 years ago when I got back from the US. And many of my friends would come to Thailand, visited the Grand Palace, and they would have seen like the mural painting or statue, and they would ask me, what is this creature, what is that creature? And at the time, I also baffled, I didn't know much, so I decided since so many people will come visit me, why not study it? So I created like a compendium, almost like a Wikipedia at the time, but for myself doing the editing. So I would re-illustrate all the creatures using the line arts and create it as a whole website, explaining what each character means and what they live in certain literature, for example. And these are some of my illustrations. So you can see that very simple, nothing has changed from the past, but it's a daily job. I would wake up in the morning, spending time about half an hour a day, 20 minutes a day, doing one illustration, so that by the end of 150 something days, I would have the full illustrations complete, all the characters completed, like so. And then the magical thing started to happen. I started to have people contacting me, even a film studio at the time, the movie called Hangover Part 2 or something, that they have the tattoo, they would call me and can I use this for the design of the tattoo? So it kind of like give me new experiences of meeting connection with other people, with human connections. And somehow this guy and I met. So his name is Anantitakom. So we have another vision of creating this project as a manga. So this becomes like a one-shot. So I would do the sketching, and then he would do the illustration, telling the story about the yak, which is the ogre tribe, and the naga, or the serpent type, how they first met, like that. So somehow it kind of like spring off from the initial idea of something traditional to something more recent or more contemporary, like this. Like that, so it ends something like that. And I also had the opportunity to sculpt several characters, like this, or like that. So this is like some nearly 15 years ago, so the quality might not be that great, okay? Pardon me. The great thing is that it allows me to meet more and more people through this very simple project. I was able to meet nearly 1,200 people, from meeting them in the conference, doing the sign up, doing the signing events, or even a talk in Philippines, in Burma, Indonesia, and also China. The second part is my student, an MFA student, also interested in this project, but he wants it to be appealing to Generation Z or young generation. So I said, why not? We have the source material, let's explore. So through this, we explore the concept of Himapan, but gear more toward younger generations. So we sketch this and would create this as an art book, which will be released next year as well. So this contains all the characters in the story, in the Himapan world. So as you can see, the scale and everything. So this one takes months to talk, to communicate, and also to come up with the final design of things. The large fish is the Pa Anon, the huge fish that we believe that live underneath the ground, like that. And the third project is with a very prominent artist, Somsak Mahamongkol. His name is Pikai. He's a very well-known conceptual artist and also animator, and he worked in the projects like Dragon Ball, Gundam, and several other projects as well. So we decided to create an encyclopedia about Himapan project. And we believe that this could be like a treasure map for future generation to look at, to see the root and stuff like that. So we start to create it as like, what if Himapan world is actually real? So we all pencil drawing, all this. See a few of these sketches. These are still very private. like this. And we created so that what if the character or the species is not just by himself, it's the whole family, the whole tribe, the whole species. So we started to create a variety of things, something like that. So like a father, Kunchonwari, the mother, and also a baby. And the project didn't end there. I decided to start sculpting, starting from the very core of all creatures, basically starting to sculpt the skeletal, like that, the muscle layer, and all three of them, like that. And it didn't end there either. I started to think that what if this can become like in an interactive game? So I put this in PlayStation 4, and it becomes a playable character that children can explore the world of Himapan, like so. That. And it didn't end there either. That project, was very widely accepted. And then this year, UOB and NAFA contacted me and wanted me to explore this project or this concept further. And this year, they created what we call the Southeast Asian Art Forum 2025, which I'll be attending next month. And we'll also hold a workshop and also a panel talk about this as well. So in this project, we explore further and make it into a metaverse called TICC Chimera. For this project, we are very lucky to have UOB as the key sponsor, NAFA, Nanyang Academy of Fine Art, Silpakorn University, the Faculty of Decorative Arts, and the studio called CyberX, because this kind of thing cannot be done by myself. So this one, Garuda, but now for younger generation, this is the first time unveiling to the public. Naga, Ginnery, and we created a new character called Chimera, which is the combination of all three combined together, the Garuda, Ginnery, and Naga as one, as a way to say that human creativity won't end just where it is. It will continue to flourish and continue to expand, explore through our imagination and creativity. And this not quite unreal yet, so this will be playable through the metaverse spatial.io next month. So in here, people can go into the metaverse and learn about all these three characters, very casually. Something like that. TICC Chimera, so I invite you to play maybe after the launch, sometime next month. So Himapan has had a very long journey, from a simple website, myself doing just one, to a comic book, to a Gen Z art book, to a concept book that hasn't been released yet, to a game, and even a metaverse. So in a way, it kind of like create experiences and human connections that cannot be replaced by AI. That's something that very important, especially holding dear to me. So for me, sustainable creativity is about the ability, going back to Dr. Cirillo here, is the ability to connect your creativity across fields, able to adapt to formats and people by matching your personal passions with what the world needs. So basically, you might need to have your core and expanding your own core to be able to flourish in the future. So it's not just about surviving in the age of AI, but transforming. I love that because I asked the question, transforming yourself again, and I'm sure that more than 10 again, while staying rooted in what you love. Same thing with Netflix. The core concept is to bring entertainment to your doorstep. It doesn't make, If you are limited to just using CD, I was there during the CD time. In the US, I want it, I would post it, and then send them the like a self-returning postcard, and then 3 days later, I get the CD, something like that. But the core concept stayed the same, bringing entertainment, but now, transforming into streaming, just as what Dr. Cirillo had just mentioned earlier. So thank you so much for listening to me. I hope that we can, coming here, what I love is the connection for human connection. So please welcome to greet me after the session. Thank you very much. And I believe I have about 10 minutes of Q&A. Please ask simple questions so that I can. Thank you very much. Yes, please.
So, first of all, thank you so much for this talk. It's really for someone like myself, right, who grew up in a different age, let us say. This is transforming to watch this and to see what we're capable of. So thank you so much, first of all, for giving this talk. The second thing is how do I learn more? If I'm a novice, where do I go now to learn how to do some of this? Because, look, I teach marketing, and I'm always forcing myself to write cases or what have you in areas that I have no specialization in. Right? I wrote a case on Instagram, or I write a case on a delivery app. These are areas that I'm not at the leading edge, but I know that my class is, right?
A very, very good question. Actually, I do challenge myself every day in a sense that how can I grow? Earlier, you were talking about transformation. For example, when you think of, I'm born in the year of snake, so I believe in growth. And before you grow, you have to go through pain to shed off the old skin and becoming bigger. I think อาจารย์ศิลปินแห่งชาติชื่ออะไรวะอาจารย์ที่มีวัดอยู่ที่เฉลิมชัย I think เฉลิมชัย Thai national artist just posted a few days earlier about growth require pain, but it's the pain that we plan ourselves. So in a way, for example, it doesn't have to be like 3D sculpting or anything. Just in recent years, for example, I have to take in several Chinese students as my PhD advisee. So in a way, their English is not the best. My English is not the best. And they're afraid to talk to me in their non-native language. So they have about 40 people and just me. I realized that maybe it's easier for me to learn Chinese, maybe. So I decided to take on this challenge. So the challenge or the dream cannot come true if you do not have a plan. So a plan would be a long-term goal, a medium-term goal, and also a short-term goal. My short-term goal is to be able to greet my student tomorrow. Say, tomorrow I would be able to say, 你好, and 你叫什么名字? Just simple as that. But the middle term goal would be able to communicate to them, at least give them encouragement, this and that. So this is how I would do every day. I would listen to Chinese teaching, audio. I'm still very old school. I don't use app. So for about 15 minutes, including listening, writing, and speaking. So I try to use AI to my own advantage. For example, I would listen, read, and while I read, I would speak back to Google Translate. If it can understand me, that means I'm somewhat successful, might not be 100%. Then I would write and then take a picture with Google Lens, and if it can translate back to English, that means I'm successful. So I do this kind of thing every day. And for example, last year I wanted to learn, the year before I wanted to learn virtual reality sculpting. Last year, I'm not quite sure, some of you might have seen my keynote speaking. I would spend about 20 days consecutively studying something new. I would set the time around November, December, because that time a lot of holiday, so I have many free hours. So I would do that every day. I would set myself 15 minutes of sculpting, regardless of what. So after those 20 days, I would acquire something new. So in a way, you have to go beyond, at least for me, my own comfort zone. But the comfort zone that is not too far-fetched, maybe a tiny bit of pain, doesn't hurt too much, and then it keeps me growing. And actually, I'm from computer science background, and I love to transform myself every now and again. For example, from being a programmer to management role, and then shifting again to doing film industry, and then back to becoming, and go on to becoming lecturers, something like that. So thank you very much for asking that question. I hope that answered your question. Thank you. Yes? Oh my God, this guy is gonna kill me.
Well, thank you so much for your talk and share with us your projects. They are lovely and would like to discuss more for our future collaboration. I promised you not too easy questions, but hopefully not too difficult. But I would like to challenge you on your V, the philosophy. The first V, you talk about value and then expertise and then experience, right? You talk about we have lost first the efficiency, the number game already, and that's quite obvious. AI can operate 24 hours more efficiently. Simulation can run faster than reality. Then you talk about accuracy, and you still think there's some gap, the uncanny valley, that we still have an edge. But well that that's not...
The gap is shortened.
Yeah.
It's closer.
Maybe by next year, that gap is no longer there, and AI will exceed us, in that aspect as well. And then you talk about, AI might be optimal in their solution, answering math question, but it might not be preferable, like it is ถูกต้องแต่ไม่ถูกใจ because human has flaw, imperfection. But you know that as well, that personalization is coming. The more data they collect about us, the more of a modeling they can, our mental model they can map. And that's what, platforms are collecting and then trying to predict what we want next. And that gap is also closing too. So our interaction today through internet, through digital platforms are all controlled. And that basically, we will not have genuine interaction anymore. We will have only human interaction through platforms. And in the last slide, you have that, you argue that we still have the experience and have the agency to choose, to feel, to make decision. But is that true? Is that, truthfully true?
You mean
Because,
human connection? Or
our
experience?
Perception of freedom and having choices. Or are we being manipulated into thinking we have that, and we just go through life through this, basically predefined path by the algorithm, for example, right? That is coming, right? You know that. And so I want to hear your opinion on that. And I have a follow-up question.
Okay, thank you. A very philosophical question that requires a very stupid answer from me. Sorry. I think that somewhat we are, even before the age of AI, even before anything, we are actually living in the assumed world or imaginary world anyhow. When we actually look at things, you and I are no different. We are carbon-based, but we are different through certain kind of personal experience, personal belief, this and that have different values. So in a way, human connection will be, how to say, human connection or even the conversation between one to another will definitely be mediated by different layers of things. Like before we do things face to face, and now through instant messaging, through metaverse, nowadays with metaverse. And I believe that at the core, humans are still yearning or longing for actual human connection. That's why I still do love this kind of events, when I actually can see. Nowadays, as you can see, there are so many, how do you say it so that it's not rude, so many fake gurus, so many ภาษาไทยคือเกรียนคีย์บอร์ด so many of these that you can see them very smart behind the screen, but when you actually meet them in person, you feel that the depth and the things that you admire them for are not there. So I still believe that connection at that level will continue to exist, but at the end we still need a more intimate conversation with one another. Just earlier I had a conversation with Dr. Cirillo, and immediately we hit off. Although we are from different background, but I feel that his is very important and mine, and we can share something together. So thank you very much. I hope that answer your question. You have any follow-up question?
Yeah, thank you for that.
Just one more question, please, because
Sure.
the time's
Okay,
pushing.
I'll keep
Yeah.
it short. You talk about the creator, like yourself, to still have space in the future, but that gap between users, creator, and platforms is very, kind of like the gap is very thin, because platform, as you pointed out, a lot of content can be generated and can be personalized, and it's faster and to the liking of the users, and therefore easier, faster, cheaper, would always win in the modern world where it is neoliberal capitalism. And that, if we don't change our economic model and the value in your first V, how do we survive?
Okay.
How do we transform?
Okay, that's a very good question and require a policymaker solution. I believe that in the future we might need what we call the universal basic income in a way, so that people can live, enough, sufficient, but we would still have the time to do something that we love. So the last remark I want to give would be, even though today you don't make money off certain scouting, for example, would you still wake up in the morning and do that? For me, I still do that every day, regardless whether I get paid or not. So it goes back to the 3 circles that I give you. Do what you love, do what you're good at, and do what the world needs. Maybe you have to redefine what the world needs you to do. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gomez, for the thought-provoking presentation. If you wish to discuss more about the presentation with the keynote, you can continue during the lunchtime.